Welcome back to the C Morning Show and welcome to Sports Talk. So the big match is coming up. It's Timnas Day, as we like to call it, as Indonesia will be taking the field against Bahrain later on. And newly naturalized Mes Hilgers and Eliano Reinders are confident that Indonesia could best Bahrain in their World Cup qualifier tonight. The pair will also hopefully make their debut at the match as part of the starting lineup.
Eliano Reinders is confident of Indonesia's prospects ahead of his debut with the team against Bahrain in the 2026 World Cup Asian qualifier. He is eager to contribute to victory in his first appearance, saying that getting 3 points will be a special moment. Fellow debutant Mes Hilgers is equally keen to impress. The FC20 defender has said he believed that Garuda squad would make a surprise. He added that the chance to participate in the World Cup was among his reason to play for Indonesia.
It was good. I think the first time we trained with the team, and I think it was a good session. I don't know what Mace...
Yes, I think for the first day, first time, we had busy days last weeks. I think relaxed session, but nice to see each other play football and get to know the stuff. I think both families are quite proud, more than proud, and they are excited to see us play Thursday against Bahrain.
What about you, Lionel? Your brother?
The same. Yeah, I think he will look the game. He will watch the game, and yeah, it was a good impression.
Because we will qualify for the World Cup. Like we need to be first or second.
First or second, yeah.
That's the most important thing to set as goal.
So Thursday, the first 3 points will be nice.
I think we need them every game.
For sure.
Also in Bahrain and in China. So cheer us up and help us.
Yeah, we need to support.
The two are expected to be an important asset against Bahrain for coach Shin Tae-yong, considering their performances in the Eredivisie.
And of course, as always on Timnas Day, we're going to talk about Indonesia's chances in their third match of the World Cup Qualifiers Round 3, what strategies are available and on the table against Bahrain. We will peel back the layers. As always, we're going to have a chat as we have back here friend of the program and Ruang Taktik tactical analyst, Muhammad Yusuf Raihan, with us on Sports Talk. Good morning, Mas Raihan.
Good
Give me a
morning.
fist pound to start things off for good luck anyway. So let's talk a little bit about tonight's matchup. We're going to start off a little bit about head-to-head records because Bahrain is still undefeated against Indonesia. So at home, at least anyway. So what are our chances here in our head-to-head tonight?
Well, yeah, I think like the past record hasn't been the kindest against Bahrain. I think we remember as well in 2012 that embarrassing 10-0 loss against them. But we won't get too much into that.
Forget that one.
Yeah, but I think like now Indonesia's level has gone rising up very high lately. And I think that we are maybe comparable in terms of our quality, in terms of our playing level against Bahrain, or maybe we are slightly better than them because they have a lot of their players, our majority of them are playing in the local leagues, and we are playing, you know, some of our players are playing in the top European leagues, even like Europa League football, right? Like Mes Hilgers. So I think that, you know, in this game, I think our expectation could be, you know, at least matching them is the least minimum, I would say, for us, Indonesia against Bahrain. But, you know, playing against Bahrain in their home turf, it's going to be, you know, a unique problem because maybe our players, like in Europe, they are not used to the climate. They are not used to like Middle Eastern, yeah, you know,
climate,
conditions.
The heat, and
the heat, yeah.
Humidity, right.
So yeah, I think it's going to be tricky for them, but I'm confident that we are going to match them and we are going to give them a competitive game.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that match against them. That's over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I would say that the Indonesian football, not just the association, but the players has changed drastically.
Yeah.
And especially for this match, because for the first couple of matches, we were without the two players that we just highlighted, who are Eliano Reinders and Mes Hilgers, who are available for tonight's match. So everyone's wondering who's going to start. We're not going to find out till about 60 minutes before kickoff. So what do you think is more likely? Would you think it's better to start them on the bench? Will they likely be in the starting lineup? And if so, if it's the latter, then who will be replaced? I mean, you can only have 11 players on the field. Who will they likely be replacing?
Yeah, it's a good problem that we have more than 11 good players, right?
Not used to this problem.
Yeah. But I think like from the two players, I think that Mace Hilgers will probably have the more chance of starting in today's game, because I think he is already the best player maybe in our squad. He's a regular starter for FC Twente, who has finished in the top 5 in Eredivisie. So maybe we will see his profile. So yeah, he is a regular starter, as I said before, for an Eredivisie, for a competitive Eredivisie club who is challenging for Europe year to year. But as we can see here, that he is probably in the mold of a modern ball-playing center back. You know, here we can see that he is pretty comfortable carrying the ball. He is pretty secure with the ball as well, and he is very active defensively, like being more aggressive, stepping up in the midfield line if there is a opponent in the front of his space. So yeah.
And carrying into the final third, that would mean that he would be able to create more opportunities.
Yeah. And it's going to play a key role as well in this game, because I think this game will suit him very well due to his playing style here. So this, by the way, this is the radar chart for last year. So this is a pretty big sample size because he is a regular starter as well. So yeah, I think from his profile here, we can see that he is like in the mold of that modern center back who is comfortable with the ball. Even though maybe not the most progressive passer, but yeah, I think with Indonesia, I think he could fit in really well, especially in this game. So maybe the next one will be Eliano Reinders. So this is probably a more interesting chart. So we are comparing him with other attacking midfielder or wingers, because he majorly played as a left winger for PEC Zwolle last year. But he is a multi-utility player, so he's very versatile. But here, as we can see, he is not the most involved offensively. But here, you can see interceptions and clearance. He is very active defensively. But that could be boosted because he plays as a wing-back as well last year. Wing-back, full-back. So yeah, this is his profile, very unique. I think possession-wise, he is very average. But yeah, he's not the most stand-out player in his team. He's playing for a team that is challenging for survival in the league as well. So I'm not expecting much. He is not going to be like an Eden Hazard or Neymar. But he is going to be a player who is going to do his job. He can play in multiple roles as a wing-back, left winger, right winger, right wing-back, or even left wing-back. Or even like in an interview, he said that he is ready to play as a striker. So
really?
Yeah, he said that.
Maybe get those blue numbers up. So in the case of a substitution, if he does come off the bench, I guess Coach Shin Tae-yong would look at it situationally. Like would be. Okay, that's interesting.
Is he going to like affect the game state? Maybe if like drawing or losing, he maybe can be substituted in for maybe like Sandy Walsh, because he is more maybe offensively better than Sandy Walsh. But it's a good problem to have.
Yes, absolutely agree. Okay, so let's now break down the actual match itself a little bit, starting with an analysis of strategies. What do you think? What strategies do you think will most likely come into play tonight?
So yeah, I think we're going to look at Bahrain first. So what can we expect from Bahrain? Sorry if that's a lot of text, but
hey, it's all right.
I'm going to go through all of this. So they are going to play with a defensive-based structure of a 4-4-2, like a simple box 4-4-2. But it can be back 5, like with their left winger dropping to the left back area. So against like a 3-4-3. So versus Japan, they did that. And they
not
will
much success, by the way.
Yeah, but they will set up in like a mid to low block. So they are not going to press aggressively. So they're going to focus on just getting back into like their defensive structure. So that 4-4-2 or 5-3-2. So expect this game to be more, a bit slow.
Like parking a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. But the context is that they were playing against Japan and
Correct.
Australia.
I was thinking the same thing. Japan's a lot of a different team than we are.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be a little bit different. Maybe they will play more open, but let's see later. But attacking-wise, they put heavy emphasis on getting wide overloads. So, like having players in the wide area. So a lot of them, they will combine in those areas, like with their central midfielders helping out. So basically, their midfielders will go out wide to just help progression in the wide areas. Okay. We will cover that later. So yeah, that is to create underlap opportunities. So underlap opportunities is by having those runs between the fullbacks and the center backs, and
because they're getting space.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
So, and yeah, because of that 4-4-2 defensive shape, they might have trouble dealing with center backs who are brave on the ball. So here I mentioned Hilgers explicitly because I think he is going to be, well suited to this game.
Okay.
And there's a clear weakness, I think, on the left-hand side. So because of the left winger dropping, he is not a natural defender, and timing blindside runs will be very important. So yeah, I think we're going to look at it in the screenshots here.
Okay.
So
this is the match against Australia.
Yeah, Australia. So Australia play in a 4-4-2 shape as well, but offensively they will form this, in the build-up, they will form this 3 center backs structure. And here you can see that Bahrain is playing in a 4-4-2.
Right.
They, here in the first phase, they are outnumbered.
Right.
2 versus 3. And Harry Sutar, he is very comfortable with the ball. He can carry the ball to this space. So the main space here in the Bahrain defensive structure is that we can exploit the spaces beside the 2 forwards here. And if we have a center back that is very comfortable, or not very, but just comfortable with the ball, carrying with the ball, like Mace Hilgers, we mentioned before, it can become pretty confusing for these 2 players.
I see. So you put exclamation marks on them. So it's going to be their responsibility. There's going to be some decision making on their parts.
Yeah. And because he has to watch for this guy. Right. If he comes to this area, he has to watch for this guy. But he also has to watch for this guy.
Right. Okay.
But this guy also, he has to watch for him, and he has to watch for him. And structurally, Australia plays actually like pretty similar to Indonesia. Indonesia will probably most likely in a subtle attacking structure will shape up like this. Okay. So yeah, I think this center back, the outer center back, the wider center back, it's going to be very important. So I think, and I imagine that this is going to be Mace Hilgers. So yeah.
Put him to use right away.
Yep. And actually the outcome of this passage ended with like an inaccurate pass from Sutar, but space was actually opened up in these areas. So the opposing side winger, the far side winger, they got momentum to attack the box, but yeah, because of the inaccurate pass, it didn't lead to anything. But the idea is there.
The opportunity is there.
And maybe we can move on to the next slide.
By the way, that match ended in a draw, correct?
Actually, it was a Bahrain win.
Oh, it was a Bahrain win.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can see the other example here, pretty similar. So Japan this is a center back going into this area that we mentioned before, and space is opened up for the winger here. Right. Mitoma, especially a very dangerous 1v1, and yeah, we do not have the same profile as Mitoma, but here we can see that the far side winger, he is free because he's not looking, he's not scanning. He should be looking here. So
this is what you call the blindside run?
Yeah, the blindside runs. And the unique thing is that Japan used an unorthodox wing back. This is Ritsudoan. He's actually a right winger who is playing as a right wing back.
Okay.
So the thing is that he might have those instincts that maybe a right wing back do not have. Maybe Sandy Walsh or Asnawi do not have.
Right.
So yeah, it's a little bit different, but I think the elements of this Japan tactics can be implemented as well for Indonesia, because I think that even though Sandy Walsh or Asnawi isn't exactly has that smell in the box, but if you give instructions, then you can definitely implement it.
In the case where if, like you mentioned earlier, if Reinders were to come in
Yeah,
for the match,
yeah.
he would have that sort of kind of instinct, don't you think?
Yeah, because he has played as a winger as well, right?
Okay.
So, or maybe like even an unorthodox or out-of-the-box solution. We will discuss about it later. But
Okay.
Witan has played some wing-back minutes, and I think we can see that coming into play in this game.
All right.
And maybe we'll move on to the next slide, and we will now discuss about Bahrain's attacking tactic. And here is what we meant by getting wide overloads here, because here they want to combine in these triangles or
Yes.
even the diamonds. So maybe here they have an extra player, so maybe forming a diamond, and that would mean that these guys, the Australia players, have to cover all the sides in the wide areas. And what they want is to have these spaces. They want to attack these spaces. And they created this really well in this passage, but the execution of the pass wasn't really executed well, and the momentum was killed. But the main idea is that they want to create these wide overloads to create the underlap opportunities, and then they will cross the ball either through the box or float crosses.
Okay, something to look out for.
So yeah, I think that is it.
Okay, so these are, you've made some notes as well for our side, Indonesian squad.
Yep.
Okay, let's have a look.
So the first one is, we've mentioned the blind side runs will be very important. I think that attacking the far side area of the pitch is, it's going to be crucial for us to create chances, because it's not something that Bahrain has, handled really well, especially the two games against Australia and Japan.
Right.
So especially from the right-hand side, because we mentioned before that they usually drop the left winger into the left-back role.
Position.
So Walsh, Asnawi, Reinders as well. I forgot to include him here, and maybe even Witan. Like if the situation allows, then maybe we can see Witan playing as a wingback if we are chasing for the win or chasing for the goal.
Right.
Okay, and center backs to be brave on the ball is going to be crucial as well to break down Bahrain's defensive structure, as we've mentioned before. Maybe Hilgers will play a key role. I don't think Jay Izzes is that type of player.
Right.
So I think I put more emphasis on Hilgers, because Jay Izzes is not that carrier of the ball. That's not his natural role. And Timnas back 5 defensive line, so we are playing the 3-4-3, right? So in defensive situations, we will have a back 5. I think it's actually already well suited to neutralize Bahrain's underlap runs, because we have 3 center backs who are going to cover laterally, right, horizontally.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a good thing that we are playing in a back 5, and we are already used to it. And then the wing backs will need to put in a lot of effort, because we are playing in a 3-4-3 that requires our wing back to go up and down.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that I was pretty disappointed with from the games against Saudi Arabia and Australia, because I don't think that we have seen a lot of support in those flanks from the wing backs. So yeah, so the timing of substitution will play a key role, because if we cannot expect our wing backs to go up and down in 90 minutes, then I think 60 minutes will do.
Okay, and then switch them up.
And then switch them up.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the timing of substitution will play a very, very important role. And decision-making on transition moments will have to be on point. So I think the problem with Indonesia in previous matches is that we are not taking that transition moments effectively.
Not taking advantage of it.
Yeah,
right?
not taking advantage of it. So yeah, there are we are dribbling with the ball, but we are not running with the ball.
Gotcha.
So when you're running with the ball, you put heavier touches, and that would mean the opponent cannot catch up with us. So yeah, the decision making on transition moments will have to be the heavy focus on the training sessions, I think.
Okay, it'll have to be a little bit sharper on that side.
Yep,
okay. So real quick, any potential key players that we should be looking out for either side?
So yeah, I think I would say Mace Hilgers will probably play a key role, sure, because he is, I think, already the best player in our team. But also, I think the right wing back or the right winger, they are going to play a very important role in this game. So maybe Wash, Asnawi, or Reinders, maybe Witan as well. They are going to be very important in this game to create chances with their runs.
Okay.
But for Bahrain, I think I like their wingers. Their wingers are very nifty with the ball. They are some sort of like the dribbly players, if you get what I mean. But yeah, they are pretty good with the ball on their feet. But I think Bahrain's main thing is that they keep their defensive structure really well. And I think they are a really, well-oiled machine.
Disciplined on defense.
Yeah, very disciplined. So yeah, I think it's their whole team that is the good thing.
Well, so far, scoring goals hasn't been our strength on the football field for this particular squad. So let me get a prediction for a scoreline for you tonight.
Well, yeah, of course we have our struggles up front. And the shocking thing is that I read that Rafael Strauch hasn't scored a goal.
I was surprised to hear that too when you mentioned that.
Yeah, he has only scored in junior football.
Right.
So yeah, I think we will struggle. We will still struggle to score goals, but I think we can nick a win, a 1-0 win. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a boring 0-0 draw as well.
Right, yeah, I was thinking as well, it might play out to a draw, but since you took my predicted scoreline, because we always have to predict for a win, I'll go for 2-1 then. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to catch up with you again, and good luck for our Indonesian national squad later on against Bahrain. We're going to take our final break here on the program, but we'll be back with some more entertainment news before we wrap things up. Stay tuned.